Hernan, so Mercado Libre became not only the first Endeavor company to go public, but one of the first Latin American companies. So what was that experience like? Was it any different coming from an emerging market? I'm sure you have a lot of people out there thinking they're going to be the next to go public. Let us hear your experience.
Yeah, sure. You know, actually going public was not a goal in itself. When we started the company, we wanted to create a sustainable company, we wanted to create a business that was going to add value. We were here studying at Stanford in 1999. Many of you may remember those were very particular years. So we thought that the discontinuity that the internet was creating in business practices, in consumer practices, was a great opportunity for us to try to start a company, use all that capital that was available at that time to do that, and certainly try to have lots of impact in the lives of many in a short period of time. That was the real objective that we had. Obviously, the fact that today Mercado Libre is a public company reflects in a way that the company has accomplished several milestones. Clearly, the performance that the stock has had since we went public shows that the company has done well, that we are well positioned to capture growth going forward. But it was not an objective in itself. I think that the number one objective that we had was to create, as I said, a sustainable company. The things that we're more proud of is, for instance, that today, according to Nielsen, there are more than 50,000 people that live out of what they make in Mercado Libre. We have almost 2,000 employees. Those are the things that really make us proud. Obviously, being a public company has helped us in a way because we raised capital that we could reinvest in the business, but it has not been an objective. And I think it's an objective that all of you should try to pursue, but again, not as a final goal, just as a way for you to keep on growing, just as a way to maintain the company independent, so you can continue developing your business, continue developing your communities, continue developing the region.
So now you and Nico Scazzi from Mercado Libre are launching a new venture. Actually, you're raising a fund to do venture capital in the region. Some people are saying you're going over to the dark side. I prefer to say the PayPal mafia is now the Mercado Libre mafia in Latin America. So how did you decide that would be your next step? What are you going to be looking for?
So I've been with Mercado Libre for 12 years. Those were 12 fantastic years, and we've accomplished lots of things. But I wanted to move on and do something new. And during all these 12 years, almost every day, I would have an entrepreneur send me an email or call me asking for advice, asking for capital. Because really in the region, they didn't have anywhere to go for help, for support. So we thought that we wanted to get involved with those entrepreneurs, but obviously being an entrepreneur myself, having a very full-time job with Mercado Libre was not possible to help them all. But in a way, we tried to help them. So now with the fund, what we try to do is be more active in that sense and try to help those entrepreneurs with our experience, with capital, to go through the path that Mercado Libre went through, but in a faster period of time and making less mistakes than what we made, and help them. I think that there's a tremendous opportunity in technology in the region, and I think that with a little bit of mentoring and with a little bit of capital, we will see many great companies like Mercado Libre coming up in the next 5 to 10 years.
The last thing, in the last year or so, Argentina has gotten a lot of attention for having this bustling, thriving entrepreneurial ecosystem. Endeavor's now been active for 13 years. What have been the changes that you've seen, and what's still left to be done? What's the next phase for the ecosystem?
If I have to make a list of all the things that are still missing, we can stay here until Thursday. But certainly Endeavor has played a terrific role in Argentina and in the region in general. We got inspired by what we saw here in the Silicon Valley, where you have great educational institutions that really push for innovation, push for risk-taking, push for entrepreneurship. That is not what you usually have in Latin America. Here you have lots of entrepreneurs that get together, and every single entrepreneur here has a friend or a family member or a colleague that is also an entrepreneur, so they don't feel that they are alone trying to change the world. You have lots of angels that are helping those entrepreneurs to fund their businesses. You have now very professional VCs that help them take those businesses into the next phase. That is something that is not present in Latin America. The typical entrepreneur feels very alone and thinks that he or she is crazy because nobody else is trying to really do something different. And I think that Endeavor has been amazing in putting together entrepreneurs, in training them, in making them feel that what they're doing is right, helping them raise funding. I think it's terrific what they've done. Clearly, all the growth that we've seen in entrepreneurial activity in the region is pushed by Endeavor. Today, every single entrepreneur in Argentina that is thinking about a new business plan, is thinking about a new company, wants to be part of Endeavor because they understand the value of the network. And I think that in a way, that's also what we're trying to do with Nico, with Kasek Ventures, that is to try to fill one of those gaps, that is the financing, the guiding of entrepreneurs. And hopefully, in 10 years, when we do the 14th conference of Endeavor, we should see a completely different scenario in Latin America with many, many entrepreneurs talking about their companies and how successful they've been because of Endeavor, because of the ecosystem that was created in the region.
Closing thoughts on the summit, on the next trajectory in your countries?
Well, we are in a new phase, not just Egypt, but the whole Middle East, as we are all hearing from the news. But, the news doesn't tell everything exactly. Living there makes you really believe that, there is potential, there is hope, and the young generation is now in charge. I hope they keep doing that because those are the future entrepreneurs, and I would like to help in any possible way. I mean, I was lucky with my venture. I started actually 2 more in the last 2 months, now that I know how to do it. But while doing so, I think everyone who has enjoyed the Endeavor experience should give back to his system. And I'm very interested to do that through Endeavor or in any other means. So I'm very hopeful for Egypt and for the Middle East after these changes that are happening. They may take a few months or even years until full maturity and stability comes and democracy, but we're on the right track.
Now, were both of you called crazy at one point starting your ventures?
Certainly. I'm still called crazy.
How many people in this room were or have or still are called crazy? Can you show of hands? Yeah, I learned my favorite New York Times article of the whole year. I mentioned this in one of our ISPs. There was an article that came out about 6 months ago looking at the kind of DNA of entrepreneurs and what makes entrepreneurs successful. And they determined that there's actually a condition. It's called hypomania. So there literally is a medical condition that is the craziness of entrepreneurs. So when I said, what is the cure? Venture capital. So maybe you're part of the cure. But if I have to leave one thing before we turn the stage over to one of the iconic entrepreneurs, Scott McNealy, it's that if you've been crazy, you're in the right place. This is really therapy for crazy people. So thank you.